Going live. Going live. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. We're going to call that a sound check.
That's not even us.
Do what?
How can that be a sound check if it's not even us?
Oh, okay. All right. You want to check now? Check, check, check.
All right, good enough.
Okay. That was a good point. Hey, everybody, we will be going live in about 4 minutes. In about 4 minutes. Let's see.
Are we going to switch to a camera that
Did
can
you
see
see the, if you haven't, and I guess I'll try to mention it a few times during our little program this evening, as what is this? I'm pretty sure you could do similar with community posts as long as you go for. Yeah, I probably haven't been utilizing the community posts as much as I should. I should try to do more with the community posts. So I guess, let's see, overhead view. Overhead view 67%. Well, that's still. Is it on there? Can you scroll up to it? There it is. Overhead view is dropping to 62. Dropping like a rock. Hey, Mr. Greenhill is on.
Hey.
Hello, Michael Greenhill. Michael, I am so sorry that it's taken me so long to send you your stuff. I'll have more on that a little bit later, but actually I'm hoping to send it off tomorrow. So I haven't forgotten. Hello from South Carolina. Robert, thank you so much for jumping on here. We have Burjeski. We have an Alan Shanks.
Yeah, just so you know, that says South Canada.
South Canada.
Not South Carolina.
Or South Carolina. I read it as South Carolina, so, you know. Well, whatever, you know. Let's see. D.W. Lowe is on here. Thank you guys so much for jumping on here tonight. We have a lot of questions to talk about tonight. We have a lot of rules questions. We have a lot of cool stuff to go over. This is definitely a good video to have jumped onto because we have a lot of fun stuff to go over. Is Phil on here?
I haven't seen him.
Phil, let's see, what is he called?
Daft Fully.
Daft Fully, that's right. Okay. Alan Shakes we have. Very cool. Very cool. Good evening, everybody. We have Kenneth. Very cool. I think he's over there in the New Mexico way, as they say.
Do they?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. A lot of. Oh, he's over there in the New Mexico way. Yep.
I've heard of way down Texas way.
Oh, maybe that's what I was thinking of.
But...
We just got 5 inches of snow in Tennessee.
Whoa.
Michael Greenhill. We got like a 16th inch of snow here, and it pretty much ground the entire city to a halt.
Did it?
Yeah.
It ground us to a halt because it was cold.
It was cold.
And that was really the bigger issue.
Yeah,
so we stayed inside.
Cold. I don't want to go outside. It's cold.
Yeah. It's pretty chilly.
What are we at on time? That says 8. This says
59
we're going
seconds.
live in 10 seconds. Do the countdown, Bessy.
I just want you to know that we are already live.
What?
We're already live.
What do you mean we're already live? No, we don't go live until 8 o'clock.
You say that, but then you...
Hey, everybody, this is Dave here at Pulp Alley, and it is 8 o'clock. That means we are live on YouTube. live with the world's most dangerous Bessy. So we got a bunch of rules questions we're going to go over. We got a few other things we're going to talk about. If you haven't seen it, we have oh my goodness, overhead view camera is down to 50%.
I'm a little disappointed.
Oh, Bessy favors the overhead view camera. Don't let that persuade you, though. I shouldn't have mentioned that. But
I mean, if you want to break my heart, it's fine.
Oh, don't be like that. You see. And they ask, why do they call her the world's most dangerous Bessy? Right there. That's an example. So we have this poll. If you haven't clicked a clicky on it, and I don't even know how to do it, but apparently it's on there. There's a poll on there. Because we're thinking about adding a new camera, we are actively working on adding a third camera to our little
Melee
program here.
Mm-hmm.
If we can do it. I tell you what, these things are a lot harder than they look.
It is not the plug and play that they say.
And you know what? I think I do a really good job of making it look much harder as well.
I mean, it's a niche you have.
Yeah.
But there are certainly people that help. Unscrupulous, some slightly dubious videos.
Okay, so we're talking about adding a new camera. So the poll that's on our little video here is for 2 new cameras or 1 new camera, but what can we try to do? Would you like to see a camera that just was focused on the dice box
The
and
boring
a dedicated
old
dice
box.
box that all of the dice would be rolled inside the Cooner Beans dice box?
Or the spectacular, wonderful Cooner Bean Sky Cam.
The return of the Cooner Beans Sky Cam is also up for grabs. So that would be a camera that we would mount on the Zeppelin, high above, circling above our table. A lot of you could probably hear the propeller in the video. It's not really quiet as it circles the room. So there is a Zeppelin conveniently located just off camera. Actually, I wish I could tilt the camera up so you could see the Cooner Beans Sky Zeppelin, but I can't get it. I haven't been able to figure out how to tilt it up that high. So the thing that I need you guys to do is to vote. Let us know. Do you want to see the return of the Cooner Beans Dice Cam or the Cooner Beans Sky Cam?
Yay!
See how she is? You're supposed to
My people are on here.
You're supposed to be impartial.
I got Vern on my side. I got Michael on my side. I have Mr. Lowe on my side.
I hit yes, but mint overhead view. I don't know if you can change it, Michael, but
I say he can.
Put
that down. Write that down. Write that down.
I don't know. Election is fixed. Voting machines are at it again. I liked when we had the Cooner Beans Zeppelin cam. Mr. Anonymous viewer has wrote in. Let's see. I like Dave rolling near the miniatures. I missed the sky cam. Another anonymous viewer commented.
I didn't pay them to write any of those things.
I prefer the Amish War Disc dice coaster. You know what? Oh, I hope I designed a new Amish War Disc. Whittled. Well, at this point, it's just a work of art.
But he will be whittling.
But if I could find a log, if I could find a good log to whittle it out of,
what kind of log?
There might be another addition to the Amish War Disc collection.
Oh,
So look out for that. All right. Hey, I haven't mentioned it yet, so please take a moment right now and click that like for us, please, right now before you take that next hand of popcorn. We got 14 or 15 on here right now, and we only have 8 likes. So please take a moment right now and hit that like button for us, because that means a lot. If you're not a subscriber, you ought to be, right?
right.
You ought to be. So if you're not a subscriber, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you're already a subscriber, make sure you have the notifications clicketed. So the world is still really screwy, isn't it?
It's getting extra
And
screwy.
last thing I want to do is talk about, the world today, but it's just screwy. And So right now we were at a standstill. I guess I should say we're at a standstill on orders for a while, because we were waiting on things to come in that should have been here. And everything just gets backed up and slowed down and backed up, and it just gets crazy. One of our oldest printers quite literally said that they have been running out of paper, and their printers, these enormous warehouses of a bunch of printers all rolling at one time, grind to a halt, because they don't have paper to keep printing. And apparently it's like, they tell me, and I have to take them at their word, saying that there's a worldwide shortage of paper, um, which makes sense. They said that a lot of paper that would be going towards making, paper, has been going towards the making of corrugated boxes, because the corrugated people, they can't keep up with the manufacture of corrugated boxes. They're running out of those so fast
For
because
shipping?
so much is being shipped. Yeah,
Hmm.
it's just crazy. So
That sounds made up.
so for Kablam, they, when we order things that are old, like part of our old library, we would normally get it. They would normally get it printed and shipped to us within a week.
Yeah.
And right now,
Are we at 3?
we're at 3 weeks. We had ordered the stuff that was like 3 weeks ago, and hoping that something's going to actually get sent to us before the end of this week. So it's going to be, like 4 or 5 times longer to get stuff than Cooter Beans will solve the energy crisis. You are correct, sir. There's a Kelly on here. Thank you for the package with all my Kickstarter goodies just before Christmas. That's awesome. That's awesome, Kelly. Thank you so much. And I feel bad because there are a lot of folks that haven't got theirs, and we are backed up right now. And there are a lot of them we're not able to put together because we don't have the stuff. Hopefully that will be fixed sometime, maybe over the weekend or
Hopefully.
next week. So that's where we're at. So please accept our apologies for the delays. Doesn't frustrate anybody more than it does us. And we are working to try and get the packages sent as quick as we can. And that's all we can do. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Is that enough about delays?
Yeah, let's go talk about something fun.
Let's talk about something fun. New releases. So our plan is to have the starter box, the characters book, the printed version, and the China Station book, the printed version, available for pre-order on the store tomorrow. So those are 3 new items, and there are already a bunch of the new miniatures on there.
Mhm.
And if
Mhm.
there's any that aren't added on there, hopefully we'll get those added before, the end of the week as well. So we're moving ahead with getting them added on there. Our focus still is to take care of our Kickstarters first. But we know a lot of you out there want to get those new books and the new starter box. So
You can
poor
put your name in
Alan
the hat.
Shanks. Is that one of our Australians?
Yeah,
Oh
he
my
is our
God.
Aussie.
I don't know what we're gonna do there. So one thing, Alan, that I did for one of the folks, and I might do this for you as well, for our Australians. Um, I'm going to look at actually having the books printed in Australia. I know that's not going to cover everything because if I remember correctly, you actually had other stuff besides just the books. But I'm going to try to have the books printed in Australia, and one way or another, that's going to help us with shipping because it'll alleviate a few items out of the box that I have to put in there, and hopefully I can go ahead and get the books sent to you from an Australian printer that we have used previously and worked well. So that's what we're looking at right now, so that we can go ahead and get you something rather than dragging this out even further. So new stuff added to the store very, very soon, as in tomorrow, and send it by pigeon. We may have to. Those poor pigeons are so overworked and underpaid, from what I hear.
And the December scenario of the month
She finally
has
got the
been
December
released.
scenario of the month sent out.
Because somebody finally finished it.
Huge delay. And that's it for the scenario of the month program for at least a year.
Yeah.
Raven could drop it off with her skimmer. Absolutely. I still haven't seen Phil on here. We need to start asking and answering some questions.
Okay. You want to ask or you want me to?
We're going to jump straight into. I didn't really edit these, so I guess I should probably ask them.
Okay.
Oh, I wanted to let you guys know. Did you see this? Marty Devine, if you're one of those lucky fellows, I think Michael Greenhill is, and some other folks out there. Marty Devine posted some files on, or what about Sally Forth? Oh, that sounds fantastic. But seriously, okay. Well, when I send it, it'll probably come from me. I don't think we get any advantage from having it sent from the UK. So as far as the Australia stuff, unless, yeah, I think I'll still end up sending it. But that's not a bad thought, Alan. I might check with Chris and see if he has any better luck sending things to Australia. Most of the stuff that I had been sending to Australia ended up coming back, so we were having a lot of problems with that. Yeah. Anyway, Marty Devine put together some burst templates, the 3-inch burst template, the short burst, and the long burst blast. So there are STL files on the Pulp Alley Players Group files section. If you want to download those STL files, you can print them out on your 3D printer.
Ooh.
Very fancy. Very
fancy. Schmancy.
So, who's that? Let's see. This next question really just gets into the delays, and I think I pretty much covered that. But a customer writing to us and asking about the hardback book, and we just had an unexpected delay there. It took a lot longer to get those in than we expected, and all we can do is apologize and let you know that we actually, again, this is one that we expect to ship off tomorrow. Or tomorrow or Saturday. Question: does your dodge skill get reduced -1 for every fight you've been in? And no, it does not. A lot of these questions came from the players group, so a big thank you to all of you out there that take the time to answer these questions on the players group. That really is helpful. And so this was. If you remember, if you look at the modifier where it actually appears in the rules, it clearly states it's a -1 penalty to your shoot and brawl. So dodge does not appear on the list. As a matter of fact, there are very few penalties that apply to dodge. But anyway, I got a lot of questions on here, so I better hurry. What is an action skill? And this came from somebody who had an old card that said gave him a +1, I believe, for an action skill. So he was asking what are action skills? And action skills in first edition were might, finesse, and cunning. Those were the skills, and they were called action skills because they are the skills that are typically used for challenges and performing actions. So they are not combat skills. There are 3 combat skills: shoot, brawl, dodge, and 3 action skills. But in second edition, we stopped doing that. I thought it would be easier, but in the long run, it makes more sense just to say the words. So rather than confusing it with a term that I can group 3 skills under,
We just
it's
name
kind
the
of
skills.
pointless.
Yeah.
Just now in second edition, I will just write the skills that apply. So the second edition version of that card, if I had it, would say might, finesse, and cunning rather than action skill. Okay, so that one's done. Oh, this is a terrible typo in the second edition rule book, and this has come up a couple times, possibly by the same person. But the winged ability states you cannot fly, shoot during the same activation. And there's just the word "and" is missing between fly and shoot. So it does look weird when you look at the sentence, but it should say you cannot fly and shoot during the same activation. So sorry about that. That's a legit typo in the book. Omission. A word is missing out of that sentence that should be there. Let's see. What is a full action? Somebody asks. And a full action is when you cannot move and perform that action at the same time. So a full action is an action that requires you to remain stationary. And then the follow-up question was, yeah, but what's a full action? Because that explains, what the rule is, but what are full actions? So full actions in second edition are almost limited to abilities. In the old first edition rule, going into hiding was a full action. So you could not move and go into hiding, but that kind of put a bigger penalty on stealth than it really needed. So in second edition, it is a normal action. You can move up to 6 inches and then go into hiding. But it's mostly actions abilities. It's mostly going to be focused on abilities like summon. Summon is a full action. You cannot move and summon minions. You have to remain stationary while you're summoning. I think that answered that.
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, and if you ever deal with big guns, like field guns and things like that, the gun crews to operate their guns are normally operated as a full action. So they typically cannot move and do that operate their gun in the same activation. Okay. When will the starter set be available outside of the Kickstarter? Hopefully tomorrow. Hopefully tomorrow is what we're aiming for. How many of each dice should I have on hand? And for our Sunday games, we have normally about 5 to 6 of each type. Die 12s are the least used dice, but if you have a character that's going to use die 12s, then you're going to want to have 5 or 6 of them available. So, but most of the time, I don't even put the die 12s out here. But anyway, 5 to 6 is the number, and that's what we sell in our sets.
Yeah.
The old sets used to have 5. The new sets have 6 of each that we have on the store. How big is an enemy patrol? And I think in that question he was asking. I think he was asking about the scenario that's called Enemy Patrol. And that's where the enemy patrols in that scenario are simply markers. They are not characters. They don't have a profile. You cannot fight them. They are treated basically as wandering perilous areas. And that's what they are in that scenario. So that's just a special rule for the enemy patrols. And if I had to say how many people I figured, it's probably between like 3 to 6 or so characters. I'm sorry, people in that area, but that's irrelevant. You can put one soldier out there to represent that marker, because it doesn't really matter how many models there are. Am I missing anything? Okay, gotta hurry. Is the starter bundle the same as the box set? No, it is not. The starter bundle is not the same. The starter bundle is just right now. I had to eliminate the quick start guide out of the starter bundle just a few days ago because we're having a really hard time getting our quick start guides, which is part of what's holding up some of our Kickstarter folks as well, because those quick start guides are supposed to be in the box. So yeah, we're short on those. And but anyway, the starter bundle is not the same. I don't even know if it's still on there. The starter bundle might not be on there anymore, since the starter set is coming up tomorrow. I think the starter bundle may have been removed, but it wasn't the same. When does a perilous area affect my character? So a perilous area affects your character when during your activation, if you touch it, if you enter or come into contact with a perilous area, then you have to draw for a peril. Or if you activate inside a perilous area. So if you start inside a perilous area, then you immediately, the first thing that happens is you take a peril. So that's when perils happen. So that's interesting, because if a peril appears during the turn, you do not resolve it immediately. I'm gonna switch cameras real quick. Maybe I will. Let's see if this will actually work. Oh, look at that. So let's say, for whatever reason, a perilous area suddenly appeared around Phantom Ace. So let's say it was an explosion or something, not a burst. I'm not talking about a burst here. I'm saying a perilous area due to like some kind of scenario event or something like that. But if a perilous area appears around Phantom Ace, when does he resolve it? It doesn't change any rules in the book just because it suddenly appeared. So just like normal, he will have to resolve it when he activates. So if he already activated this turn, then it's not even going to affect him this turn, and he wouldn't have to roll for it until the next turn when he activated. So there's that. Hey, I think I got one more.
Okay.
I'm excited about adding a third camera. This is something I've been working towards for a long time, and you guys don't realize that this is something that I've been talking about with Bessy for probably 6 months. You know?
Yeah, since we started doing lives.
Yeah.
Because I recorded, we could do an overhead.
Yeah.
But the lives, it definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. And right now we're limited to 2 cameras just because of our setup, because we use Logitech cameras that run through Logic Capture, and the maximum number of cameras that we can use for that are 2 cameras. But we're slowly, over the last 6 months, been slowly putting together a plan, and it has been frustrating and crazy trying to figure out how to do this.
Oh, yeah.
Last question that we had was Yin Ying has the shapeshifter ability in the Shadow Tong League. Dr. Fang's daughter Yin Ying has the shapeshifter ability and therefore can transform into Shadow. It is not mentioned if or how Shadow can transform back. Can Shadow transform into Yin Ying? No, Shadow cannot shapeshift because Shadow does not have the shapeshifter ability. It's actually assumed, if you wanted to think of it in bigger terms, in story terms, it's assumed that Shadow shifts back into Yin Yang after the scenario's done, after she's taken
Recovered.
back to what was that? Recovers, and things like that, and is able to rest, and then she transforms back. So Yin Yang is a shapeshifter, and she can transform into. The reason Yin Yang can transform is because she has the shapeshifter ability. When the character Shadow was created, I did not give Shadow the shapeshifter ability. So Shadow is not a shapeshifter and cannot transform during the scenario. So there's nothing wrong with doing that. And the reason I did it that way is because really that leaves you with a lot more open ends. Vernjeski talking about Lady Hawk and transforming at night and things like that. When the sun goes down. What a great old movie. I miss that Rutger Hauer. What an amazing actor. What a range. And I mean around the waist. Shapeshifters and things like that come in a lot of shapes and sizes. There are those that can switch back and forth, at the blink of an eye. Well, this turn I'm going to be this turn I'm going to be this. But if you want that sort of shapeshifter, then you give both of them the shapeshifter ability. Or better yet, you give them the perk. There is a perk that you can give, and then you can give all of your characters shapeshifter if that's the direction that you want to go. But not all shapeshifters do that. Like Incredible Hulk, right? Incredible Hulk doesn't just bounce back and forth, it will. Hyde and Jekyll, they don't just bounce back and forth at will. There's instances of them doing that, but normally once the transition happens, they're in that new form until that little part of the story, that part of the scenario is over. Bride G got a little confused on the perilous versus difficult area. Okay. Good question. So a difficult area is only perilous if you're moving over 6 inches. So I'll put normally, a lot of times you can avoid these things. So what I'm going to show you here is, let's say that there's a plot point over here in this hut. And let's say this area, the brown area, is guarded by a watchdog. So it's a perilous area. That the scenario says that it is a perilous area. So regardless of how fast I am moving, regardless of how far I move, as soon as I come into contact with that perilous area, I will have to take a peril. Also remember that because I am touching that perilous area during this turn, I cannot move over 6 inches. So let's say if I was back here, is that still on camera? No.
There you go.
There? Okay. Yep. So if I was like 8 inches away, then I would basically have to stop before I came into contact, because you cannot contact a perilous area and move over 6 inches in the same activation. So he would stop there. But if I was here, I'm within 6 inches. As soon as I come into contact, I have to take the peril, and then I move in there. Now, the difference is if this was a difficult area, I only have to take a peril if my entire move for that turn is over 6 inches. So if I was sitting here, I would not have to take a peril because I am under 6 inches and I could enter that difficult area and attempt the plot point all in one activation. However, if I was back here, as soon as I touched this difficult area, I would have to take a peril because my entire movement is over 6 inches this turn. Hopefully that answered it. So for a perilous area, it's always perilous, and you're going to have to take a peril as soon as you touch it. For a difficult area, you only have to take a peril if your move is over 6 inches. So hopefully that answered it. D.W. Lowe says, as long as you have your trusty 911s to deal with the perils, you'll be okay. All right. And according to the clock on the wall, we're a minute over. What were you going to say, Bessy?
Oh, were you going to show what he sent?
Oh, I was supposed to show what DW sent to us. Oh, yeah. Mr. D.W. Lowe from the land of...
Mexico.
What?
New Mexico.
Sent us a cool little thingy. He said he uses something like this as their director's thing. So really cool. Look at that. Isn't that adorable? It's just a little toy, chunk of metal. Possibly, I don't know what it might be. I don't know if it's steel or aluminum or something like that, or probably titanium, probably adamantium or something like that. But nice little, cute little, some cool, and it's got a little badge here on it. Very cool, and it's a lighter. It lights if you. Oh, wait. No, it's not a lighter.
You're just making stuff up now.
I thought it was a lighter. Okay, very cool. Just a big thank you to
that's awesome.
D.W. Lowe for this super awesome little gift. That was really cool. If you'd like to sign up and play with me on a Sunday, you ought to do that. Overhead cam dropped to 41%, Bessy. Looks like the boys and girls want the dice cam. Looks like the boys and girls are...
All I'm going to say is the people that discussed all said one thing, so I don't know who these nameless folks...
What? Don't be like that. Don't be a hater. Yeah, it doesn't really matter to me. I think either one of them are interesting. That's why I put it up there on the poll. So that's pretty cool. We'll leave the poll open for a while, and you guys can continue to vote often, just like Chicago. Just vote as many times as you want. It's okay.
Oh, I will.
We'll see you on Sunday, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. Wake up the orchestra and roll the credits. Dun, 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 dun. Why don't we have like real music anymore?
I don't know.
Dun, 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 dun.